Hey folks, and welcome back to Shaggy's Car Shop. On tonight's episode, I'm going to be covering on how some of these aftermarket panels fit. I know some of the viewers were a little interested in seeing how they fit, so I was just going to kind of go over and cover, I guess, some of the panels I put on this car. And I mean, some of it might be me, some of it might be the panels. I don't know. We'll take a look and see what you guys think. Alright, stay tuned. Alright, so one of the first areas I'm going to hit is right in this area, right here. Now you can see they are considerably flared out. I have my stock wheel wells on here. If my memory serves, the ones from the factory did fit a little more flush. Now, I'm not saying that's, you know, entirely a bad thing. These can be tapped back, but it's just something to note. So one of the other areas I'll talk about is right here. So I shimmed this top of this fender out just so I could get that hood to fit. Now, not saying my door is on here square as well, which, I mean, it could be probably shimmed out just a little bit, but I did have to shim this out just a touch. Now this side is running a little high. Right here, I think part of this is, if you guys can see, I don't know how well you can see, but the lower part of this fender does stick out a little bit. Now, I think part of that is the lower part of the fender down here, I gotta bend that down just a little bit so I can fit this a little snugger. I would guess I'm an 1/8, 3/16 off of my rocker panel there. I think if I bring that in, that'll help bring it in a little bit. And then if you shim the door out just a touch, I think this would line up pretty decent. Now moving on to the front. So as you can see right here, here's my hood. It's lined up fairly decently with, granted this is the old rubber on here and everything, but you see how far down in this front corner is? So this is going to have to be bent back up, shimmed out. Oh God, that's probably in here. I'd say that's 3/4 of an inch there. I don't know if that was damage in shipping or the way I have this front nose on here. But then moving around, this front nose cone is off just a little bit. Now it is all busted up, so I really don't know how close that would be, but I'm guessing this can come down in just a smidge more, which should bring this fender down and line this up a little better. But you still have to bring that up. I mean, you can see I got big hands, and that's a whole finger width, and plus probably another 1/8, maybe 3/16, something like that. But this has got to drop down, or my nose has got to come up. Now, I'm not saying I am perfect on lining these body panels up by any means, because my nose could be off just by a bunch. Not really going to talk about my lower valance, because that thing is, as you can see, is warped all the heck. I got a new one of those coming in the mail. So this hood I ordered from AMD. I think it's very good condition, very good quality. Again, I'm a little tight out on my fender gaps with the edge of the hood. It's a little tight here. This one's got to come out. But again, some shimming. Now moving around over to this side. Now the plastic is all busted off over here. And again, the way it looks to me, I could probably bring this front nose area up a little bit. But from what I'm seeing is this fender again has to roll down in just a little more. And that hopefully would bring this whole area just down and snug that up. Now all of my plastic out here is busted off, and I could probably bring this nose up just a 3/4 of an inch more on this side. I was just trying to line it up as best as I could. All right, now moving on back over here. This side fit in here real nice down underneath. My body line lines up this way, but the fender needs to go back in just a smidge here and then up in here. Now this might be solved by, I have 2 shims in here just to get this fender out so I could get the hood on there without scraping it too bad. But I think this part of the fender needs to be spread open some back in this general region. Same thing on the wheel well. Those wheel opening flares, they just need to be bent back in a little closer to my wheel wells. I mean, overall, they seem to be a very good fender. I mean, the body line down them seems pretty good. And again, I am not a body guy by trade, so a lot of it might be me. Now my cowl panel, that's just there. It can come up on the other side. It's a little high on this side, so that's a little wonky, but this is why I'm bringing my car to a body guy. Moving back, some of my other panels. These rear quarters, when I did it, I figured it was easier for me than patching in a sail panel since I needed to do everything. These rear quarters were completely shot. In fact, the passenger or the driver's side one over there was patched in from, I think it was a 67 or 68. Had the little grills down in here that somebody mudded over. So that had some old accident damage. But these are another AMD product. These fit beautifully. As far as my deck filler panel, that fits beautifully. My trunk lid, that's a little snug over on that side. This side, it's a little snug up in this corner. I'm hoping the body guy can do something about that. Tail panel, that was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. Had to figure out some ingenious ways of getting it where I wanted it, but that fit pretty nice. Then moving on over here. I think the best panel that I had fitting, or the easiest panel, was my roof panel. I was a little worried about that. With having a tree branch fall on the backside, I built a little contraption to spread out or contract my inner structure, which I didn't even end up having to do or use. Once I cut the old one off, this one fit beautifully right into place. So, and then the other major panel I replaced, I did do a patch in on my trunk floor. That was just, I don't know where I got that one. I got it somewhere down the line, but I just patched that one in. It's just the belly of the trunk. And then in here, I did a full floor pan replacement on here. And this AMD panel is very, very decent. I didn't have any issues with that. Most of my issues are just aligning my front sheet metal. And again, once the body guy comes over and has a look, he might say, hey, move here, bend there, do whatever. but that's why I'm relying on them, because I'm not a body guy again. But all right, that covers all the panels that I put on this car. I'll be right back with you. All right, folks, that's it for tonight's video. I'd like to do more, but we are kind of having a record heat wave across the states right now. It's a bit warm in my shop. It's about like an oven. I think it's 9 o'clock, so it's early for me tonight. But yeah, I'm sweating real bad in here. Hopefully that covered some of anybody's questions about how these panels fit, these aftermarket ones. I know in some of my previous videos somebody asked about them, so I'm kind of doing a shout out back to him. If there's anything else you guys want to know about these panels, how they were shipped, anything like that, I'm glad to answer questions on this. Again, I would have liked to keep the originals, but they were pretty beat up, and actually they got misplaced somewhere over the last 15-20 years. So I had to go with the wow, I'm leaving sweat trails, that's interesting. So I'm having to go with these aftermarkets. Again, I've had real good luck with AMD panels. I'm not by all brand specific. It's just what I like. I think they fit well. These just probably need a little bit of tweaking, and honestly it's probably a little more me than the car or the panel, and just shimming in the right spot, knowing where to tweak them in the right spot. Again, I did a video in the past on that lower valance panel, and that thing is, whew, that thing is rough. But I do have a new one of those coming, so hopefully that'll help some too. Let's see, some of my next videos, I have the car together now. I am waiting on a body guy to come give me a quote, and then hopefully it's to my liking, and then I can get this off to him so he can make it pretty, because that is not my cup of tea. After that, we'll do maybe a video on loading it up and bringing it to the body shop. And then it's, well, as you guys probably have seen in my shop, it is a disaster. I'm going to spend a few weeks cleaning this up, getting rid of old cardboard boxes, going through some stuff, cleaning up my shop, so when I do get this back, I'll have a nice clean shop. But in between there, because I'm guessing this is going to take a little while for some body work, I'm transitioning over to working on my engine. I'll start working on that, kind of go through what I've done all on the internals of it and what we dynoed it at, and building a serpentine system for the front of that caddy motor, and then how I mounted it, or I've already had it mounted up, but how I'll show you guys how I figured out how to get a T56 Magnum off the back side of it. But all right, folks, that's it for tonight. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.